Okay, so have you heard about this whole turning your phone into like a passive income thing?
Yeah.
Is it legit or is it just hypery?
Yeah.
We gotta find out.
Right.
We're going deep on this today, looking at a bunch of articles and research about these apps,
Mm-hmm.
you know, cashback apps, investment tools, even ones that supposedly pay you for your data.
Yeah. It's
What?
pretty wild, the stuff that's out there.
I mean, think about it. You're on your phone all day anyway.
Right.
Why not make it work for you?
Exactly. That's the idea. Make the thing that's, usually distracting you actually make you money.
I love it. Okay, so to start off, I think it's important to establish, like, what even is passive income?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So passive income, it's not about getting rich quick. It's more about setting up systems that just kind of run in the background.
Right.
It's kind of like that classic example of owning a vending machine.
Okay.
You fill it up once and then it just makes you money even while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
People come up, they buy their snacks. You don't have to do anything.
Right. It's not about quitting your job tomorrow,
Exactly.
but it's about, like, maybe setting yourself up for, some extra cash flow down the line.
That's it. And a lot of these apps claim to make it super easy to get started,
Okay.
even if you only have a few minutes here and there.
So before we get too deep into the apps themselves,
Hmm.
I think we should back up and like, properly define passive income.
Right, because it's not just about like working less or anything. It's more about making money without trading your time directly for it.
Okay.
So it's not like a side hustle where you're still putting in the hours.
Yeah.
It's more like building that mini money-making empire that just kind of hums along without needing your constant attention.
Got it. Okay. So with that definition in mind, let's jump into the apps.
All right, let's do it.
The first category that always catches my eye is these cashback and rewards apps.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was a bit skeptical at first, but some of these examples are pretty interesting.
Well, and it's funny because it seems like the classic, spends money to make money kind of thing. But it's a little bit more nuanced than that. We're not talking about spending more.
Right.
We're talking about getting a little something back on what you're already spending money on.
Exactly. So like Rakuten, for example,
Yeah.
they give you cash back for shopping at a ton of different stores.
It's a good one.
It's basically like a bonus for just doing your normal online shopping.
And what's interesting too is there's actually a psychological effect there.
Oh, really?
Like studies have shown that even small little cashback rewards can actually influence our spending habits a little bit.
Okay.
Like it can encourage us to stick with certain retailers or, maybe make purchases that we were putting off.
Interesting. So it's not even just about the money itself,
Right.
but also kind of like the way it affects your behavior.
Yeah, those little nudges that the apps can give you.
Okay. Another one that I've heard of is Honey.
Oh, yeah. Honey's a good one.
So not only does it find coupon codes for you,
Right.
but they also have this Honey Gold Rewards program. So is it kind of like having like a personal shopping assistant
Yeah.
who's always on the lookout for a good deal?
Exactly. And that kind of automation is what makes it, truly passive.
Right.
You set it up once and it just works in the background.
Ibotta is another big one, right?
Yeah.
Especially for saving money on groceries.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people talking about uploading their receipts and getting cash back on everyday stuff.
Yeah. Ibotta is interesting because it really taps into that power of like micro rewards, like
Right.
these small, frequent little payouts.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates a sense of progress,
Yeah.
which keeps people engaged with the app.
So it's kind of like tricking ourselves into saving money.
In a way, yeah. But it's a win-win, right? Like
Yeah.
the app benefits because people are using it more,
Mm-hmm.
and you benefit because you're getting those rewards.
For sure. Okay, so we've talked about the, spend to earn apps.
Right.
Let's move on to something a little bit more, I don't know, grown-up
Okay.
investment apps.
Yeah, the world of putting your money to work for you.
Yeah.
Even small amounts can make a big difference over time.
That's what they say.
That's what they say, and it's true.
One app that I keep seeing that seems really good for beginners is Acorns.
Yeah, Acorns is great.
And they have this roundup feature.
Right.
So it invests your spare change automatically.
Yeah. Acorns is a really fantastic example of micro investing.
Okay.
It takes away that mental barrier of needing a lot of money to get started.
Yeah.
Because you're investing small amounts consistently.
Right.
You're taking advantage of this principle called dollar cost averaging,
Okay.
which helps to kind of mitigate risk over time.
So instead of just having my spare change sitting around,
Yeah.
it could be building like a diversified portfolio without me even thinking about it.
That's the idea. And that set it and forget forget it aspect is key to passive income.
Right.
You're not spending hours researching stocks.
Yeah.
You're not constantly checking the market.
Yeah.
The app kind of does the heavy lifting for you.
Okay. That definitely sounds appealing, especially for someone like me who's not like a financial expert or anything.
Right.
Now, I know for people who are more into like the stock market, there are apps like Stash and Robinhood.
Those are good ones.
Yeah.
So Stash is known for being very beginner friendly.
Okay.
They have a nice interface and they offer fractional shares.
Oh, what is that?
So that means you can invest in companies like Apple or Tesla with just a few dollars.
Oh, wow.
You don't have to buy a whole share.
Interesting.
So it makes it great for people who want to build a diversified portfolio, but, maybe don't have a ton of money to invest.
Right. And then Robinhood is popular for commission-free trading.
Yep, that was kind of a game changer,
Yeah.
especially for people who are more active traders.
So is that still considered passive income, though?
Well, it depends on how you use it.
Okay.
Robinhood does require more active involvement, and
Mm.
there's more risk involved. So it's not really passive in the purest sense.
Right, I see. So it's about choosing the right tool for the job.
Yeah.
If you want true passive income, maybe Acorns is better.
Mm-hmm.
But if you enjoy that active trading, then maybe Robinhood's the way to go.
For sure. Before we move on, though, there's one more investment app that I think is worth mentioning.
Oh, okay. What's that?
Have you heard of Fundrise?
Fundrise. I don't think so.
Okay, so Fundrise is a platform that allows you to invest in real estate,
Oh, wow.
even with a small amount of money.
Okay.
So it's a great way to diversify your portfolio beyond just stocks and bonds.
Yeah.
And it offers the potential for passive income through things like rental income and property appreciation.
Real estate investing through an app.
Yeah?
That's interesting. But isn't real estate usually like a really long-term investment?
Yeah, it typically is, but Fundrise makes it accessible to more people
Okay.
by pooling money from multiple investors.
Okay.
So you can basically invest in a diversified portfolio of properties
Oh, wow.
without the hassle of owning and managing them yourself.
So it's kind of like owning a tiny piece of a bunch of different properties,
Right.
but without being a landlord.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the potential for passive income is definitely there.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got the cashback apps, which are good for earning on everyday purchases.
Right.
Then we've got the investment apps, which are putting your money to work for you.
Yep.
This next category is where things get a little bit
A
controversial.
little bit, yeah.
Data sharing apps.
So this is where you're basically monetizing your digital footprint.
Yeah.
And it raises some really important questions about privacy
Mm.
and, how much control we have over our own information.
I'll be honest. I'm a little hesitant about this one.
Yeah, I understand that.
But some of the apps that we're looking at claim to prioritize user privacy.
Okay.
So that's good, at least.
Yeah, and it's super important to be discerning here because not all data sharing apps are created equal.
Okay.
Some are more transparent than others about what data they're collecting and how they're using it.
So let's talk about some specific examples.
Okay.
I keep seeing Nielsen Computer and Mobile Expression and Honeygain popping up.
Yeah, those are some of the big ones.
What are those all about?
So these apps basically collect data in the background as you use your phone or browse the internet.
Okay.
Like Nielsen, for example, they might track what websites you visit
Oh, okay.
to get insights into browsing habits.
So it's kind of like market research.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Mobile Expression rewards you just for having the app installed on your phone.
Wow, so you're literally getting paid to just have it there.
That's the idea. But of course, the catch is they're collecting data on things like what apps you use,
Yeah.
what websites you visit, even your location.
So it's like getting paid to be tracked, which is a little creepy.
It can be, but these companies argue that the data is anonymized and aggregated.
Okay.
So it's not directly linked to your personal identity.
I don't know. Even anonymized data can reveal a lot about our habits and preferences.
Oh, absolutely. You're not wrong there.
And then Honeygain is another one that's interesting.
Yeah.
It lets you share your unused internet bandwidth,
Mm-hmm.
and then they pay you for it.
It's a cool concept. Think of it like renting out a portion of your internet connection.
Oh.
So companies can then use that bandwidth for things like market research or content delivery.
So my internet connection becomes like a little money-making machine.
In a way, yeah. But again, it's important to understand what data they have access to and how they're using it.
Yeah. So it seems like the big takeaway here is to just be really cautious and informed.
Definitely.
These data sharing apps can be a way to earn some passive income,
Right.
but you have to weigh the potential rewards against the privacy implications.
Absolutely. And always look for apps that are very transparent about their data practices and give you clear options to opt out if you want to.
Yeah, you should feel in control of your data,
Exactly.
not like you're being taken advantage of.
Okay, so moving on, let's talk about a category that feels a little more tangible.
Okay.
Renting out your resources.
So this is where the sharing economy comes into play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is where you can use the things you already own to make some extra money when you're not using them.
I have a friend who rents out her car whenever she's not using it
Oh, cool.
through Turo,
Yeah.
and she makes a pretty good side hustle from it.
Turo is a great example of how technology is changing things. It's like Airbnb, but for cars.
Yeah.
It allows regular people to connect and share their stuff.
And it's not just cars, right? There's Neighbor,
Right.
where you can rent out storage space in your house.
Yeah, so it's like turning clutter into cash.
I love it.
And there's also Getaround, which is similar to Turo, but it's for shorter term rentals.
Oh.
So if you live in a city and you don't use your car all the time,
Yeah.
that's a good option.
So with all these different options for renting out resources, it seems like there's a way for almost anyone to get involved with the sharing economy.
Yeah, definitely. And the potential for making money is pretty big.
Yeah.
Especially if you live in an area with high demand for those services.
Okay, so this next category takes a little bit more work up front,
Okay.
but it can lead to long-term passive income.
Right.
I'm intrigued.
Content creation platforms.
So this is where you can use your creativity to build an audience online.
Right.
It's not about quick cash, but it's about creating something valuable
Yeah.
that can make you money over time.
So it's kind of like building this digital asset
Exactly.
that just works for you 24/7.
Yeah, and there are so many platforms to choose from. Each one has its own audience and its own ways to make money.
So I've seen YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest mentioned a lot in our research.
Yeah, those are some of the big ones.
So YouTube is obviously the classic one for video creators.
Right.
You can make money through ads, sponsorships, even selling merch.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok is all about those short form videos.
Yeah, and they have their creator fund, which pays you based on how many views you get.
Wow. Okay. And then Pinterest is more visual.
Yeah, you can create content that drives traffic to your website or your products.
So it's more about like driving sales.
Exactly.
Okay. So it seems like there's a platform out there for every kind of creator.
Whether you're into video writing or photography.
You just have to find the one that's right for you.
And then the key is to just consistently create high-quality content
Right.
that people actually want to see.
Because building an audience takes time.
For sure.
But once you have that loyal following,
Yeah.
the possibilities for making money are endless.
All right, so last but not least,
Hit me.
we have a category that combines making money with something we should all be doing anyway.
Okay. I like this.
Fitness and wellness apps.
All right. So you can get rewarded for taking care of yourself.
Exactly. It's a win-win for your health and your wallet.
I love it.
This one app that I'm really into lately is Sweatcoin.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that one.
It literally pays you to walk.
It's a great example of gamification
Okay,
and behavioral economics at work.
so how does it work?
So by rewarding you for your steps, it
Mhm.
encourages you to be more active.
Yeah,
You earn sweat coins that you can then trade for rewards or even donate to charity.
it's like getting paid to stay in shape.
I love it. There are other apps too, like Achievement,
Okay,
which rewards you for tracking healthy habits,
like what?
like steps, meditation meals.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just about walking,
Yeah.
it's about making healthy choices overall.
I like it. And then there's Healthy Wage.
Oh, Healthy Wage is interesting.
What is that one?
So you can basically bet on yourself to lose weight,
Oh, wow.
and if you reach your goal, you win money.
Okay.
It's a really unique approach
Yeah.
that combines financial incentives with accountability.
So with all these fitness and wellness apps, it seems like there's no excuse not to prioritize our health.
Right.
Especially when you can earn some extra cash along the way.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
From cashback apps to content creation platforms and even fitness trackers that pay you to walk.
It's crazy.
Yeah. The world of passive income apps is huge, and there's so much to explore.
But before we get into the specifics
Oh, yeah.
of like how to actually maximize your earnings from these apps,
Mhm.
I think it's important to take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, I agree. So in part 2, we'll discuss some of the pros and cons of using these apps for passive income.
Okay.
We'll talk about some key things to consider when you're choosing apps,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll dive into the importance of mindset and thinking long term.
Sounds good. So
Mhm.
stay tuned. And in the meantime, start thinking about which of these app categories sound the most interesting to you.
Yeah.
We'll be back soon to help you turn those apps into assets.
Looking forward to it.
All right, so we're back and ready to dive a little deeper into the world of passive income apps.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I feel like we've just scratched the surface.
Yeah, we've seen what's out there, but now it's time to get a little bit more practical.
Exactly. So I guess the first thing we need to do is kind of like weigh the pros and cons of this whole approach.
Right, because like any financial venture, it's important to be, realistic.
Yeah, we got to look beyond the hype.
Exactly. So let's start with the good stuff. What are some of the biggest advantages of using apps for passive income?
Well, I'm just from what we've seen so far, they seem pretty user-friendly,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
especially compared to like starting a traditional business.
Absolutely. Like, the accessibility is a huge plus.
Right.
Most of these apps require very minimal setup. There's no complicated paperwork.
Right.
You don't need a ton of money to get started.
Yeah, it's kind of like dipping your toes into the entrepreneurial world
Exactly.
without like the huge risk.
Low barrier to entry.
Yeah, and there's just so much variety.
Oh, yeah.
Like there are apps for like every interest and lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're a shopaholic,
Yeah.
a fitness fanatic, or just like a Didida nerd,
Right.
there's probably an app out there for you.
Exactly. And that's kind of the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
You can integrate these income streams into your life
Yeah.
without having to, completely change who you are.
Okay, so accessibility and variety, those are big wins.
For sure.
But let's be real for a second.
Okay.
Scrolling through all those app descriptions,
Yeah.
it's easy to get caught up in the hype.
Oh, yeah. It all sounds so easy.
Make money effortlessly.
Push a button and you're rich.
Right. But I think it's important to talk about some of the potential downsides
Mm-hmm.
or like pitfalls that we need to watch out for.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the first thing is just setting realistic expectations.
Okay.
Like, most of these apps, they're not going to make you rich overnight.
Right.
The earnings are probably going to be pretty modest at first, and it takes time and consistency to build up any significant income streams.
So patience is key.
Absolutely.
More like a marathon than a sprint.
Exactly. Like, think of it like planting a garden.
Okay.
You put in the work, you plant the seeds,
Yeah.
you nurture them, but you don't get to harvest those tomatoes the next day.
Right. You got to wait for them to grow.
You got to wait for them to grow.
And speaking of waiting,
Yeah.
I think another potential downside is that you do need to stay somewhat engaged,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
even though it's called passive income.
It's not completely passive.
Right. Like some apps require you to actually use them regularly.
Exactly. Like, think about those fitness trackers.
Mm-hmm.
You have to actually walk those steps to earn those rewards, or
Yeah.
content creation platforms.
Right.
You have to put in the effort to build your audience and monetize your work,
So there's definitely a level of like active participation involved.
especially in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, of course, there's the big one,
The elephant in the room.
data privacy.
Yeah.
We talked about it before, but it's worth mentioning again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of these apps collect and use your personal information
Yeah.
in ways that could be concerning.
It feels like a trade-off.
It is.
Like the convenience and the potential to earn money
Yeah.
often comes at the cost of sharing our data.
That's the thing. And that's why it's so important to be really careful about which apps you choose.
Right.
Read those privacy policies. Really understand what data they're collecting and how they're using it.
So knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
We gotta be informed users,
You got it.
not just clicking accept on every permission request.
And remember, you can always delete an app.
Yeah.
If you change your mind or you start to feel uncomfortable.
Okay, so I think it's fair to say that using apps for passive income,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a guaranteed path to riches,
Right.
but it can be a good way to like diversify your income
Mhm.
and explore some new financial possibilities.
Yeah. I think that's a really good way to put it.
It's a tool,
It's a tool.
not a magic solution.
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about how to make the most of these tools.
Okay.
What are some tips and strategies for choosing the right apps?
All right. Well, one of the best strategies is to combine multiple apps.
Okay.
It's like diversifying your investments.
Right.
But instead of stocks and bonds, you're using different income streams.
So instead of putting all my eggs in one basket,
Exactly.
I could have a cashback app running while I'm shopping,
Right.
a data sharing app working in the background,
Hmm.
and a fitness tracker rewarding me for my walk.
Yeah, you're creating this symphony of passive income.
Oh, I like that.
Each app is playing a different instrument in your financial orchestra.
I'm going to use that.
Steal it.
But with so many options out there,
Mm-hmm.
how do we choose which apps to use?
Well, start by thinking about your habits and your interests.
Okay.
If you shop online a lot, Cashback and coupon apps make sense
Right.
if you're into fitness.
Yeah.
Explore apps that reward you for being active.
So find apps that feel natural,
Exactly.
not like a chore.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to experiment.
Right.
Try different apps. See what works best for you.
Because what works for one person
Yeah,
might not work for another.
exactly. It's all about finding what fits your lifestyle.
Totally. And another tip that I saw is to look for apps that offer automation,
Oh, yeah, automation is cute.
like automatic investments,
Mm-hmm.
automatic data sharing,
Right?
even automatic bill payments.
All about making things easier.
Yeah, because the less you have to think about it,
Right.
the more passive it truly is.
Exactly. It frees up your mental energy.
Yeah, you can focus on other things.
For sure.
Another thing that I think is important
Yeah.
is to be mindful of those payout thresholds
Oh, yeah, the fine print.
and any fees that the apps might have.
Mm-hmm.
Because some apps have minimum earning requirements
Right.
before you can cash out.
You got to earn a certain amount.
And some might charge transaction fees.
So a seemingly high earning potential could be wiped out by fees.
Exactly. So always read the fine print.
Always.
Understand the terms and conditions.
Before you commit.
Okay, so I think another really important piece of this whole puzzle
Yeah.
is consistency.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like with any investment strategy,
Mm-hmm.
you got to stay the course.
Stay the course.
Don't get discouraged by slow progress.
It's a long game.
Yeah, it's easy to get excited at first.
Oh, yeah, when you see those first few dollars coming in.
Right, but it's the long-term dedication that really makes a difference.
It's about building sustainable systems, not chasing those quick wins.
And that brings us to another really important element,
Which is
mindset.
mindset, yeah.
It's not just about the technical stuff.
Right.
It's about having the right mental framework.
Absolutely. We're going to dive deeper into that in the next part.
Okay.
It's about shifting your perspective,
Yeah.
embracing patience, and developing the discipline to stay focused.
So stay tuned because we're going to unlock the power of mindset
We're going deep.
and help you turn those apps into assets.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're back for the final part of our passive income deep dive.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot.
We've looked at all these apps, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The potential pitfalls.
Yeah, and even some strategies for like actually making these things work for you.
Right. But there's still one key ingredient missing.
The secret sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not something you can download.
Right.
It's all about mindset.
Mindset, the mental game.
Yeah, because you can have all the tools in the world,
Right.
but if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to succeed.
It's not just about pushing a button and getting rich.
Not quite.
So what are like the key mindset shifts?
Okay, so one of the most important ones is embracing delayed gratification.
Okay.
Because unlike a job where you trade your time for money,
Right.
passive income takes time.
Right.
You have to put in the work up front,
Mhm.
and then you see the rewards later.
It's like planting a tree.
Exactly.
You don't get the fruit right away.
No, you got to be patient.
You nurture it, you give it time, and eventually it'll bear fruit.
Yeah, it's about shifting your focus from those immediate rewards to long-term gains.
And that can be tough,
Oh, yeah.
especially in today's world.
Instant gratification is everywhere.
Exactly.
But learning to delay gratification, it's so important.
Yeah.
Not just for passive income, but for life in general.
Okay, so how do we get better at that?
Well, it starts with setting realistic expectations.
Right.
Understand that building passive income takes time. Don't get discouraged if you don't see results immediately.
Yeah. Celebrate those small wins along the way.
Exactly.
And another mindset shift that I think is really crucial
What's that?
is embracing continuous learning.
Ah, yes.
Because the world of passive income is always changing.
It's constantly evolving.
New apps, new strategies, new opportunities.
I gotta stay on top of it.
So it's like you're a lifelong student of passive income.
I like that.
Yeah, you got to keep learning and adapting.
And that curiosity, that willingness to learn,
Mm.
it'll help you in so many areas of your life.
Okay, so there's one more mindset shift
Okay.
that I think is super important.
I'm all ears.
It's about cultivating an abundance mindset.
Abundance.
Yeah, it's about believing that there are enough opportunities out there for everyone.
I love that.
It's not about scarcity.
Right.
It's not about competing for limited resources.
It's about believing that you can create the wealth and freedom that you want.
It's about seeing the world as a place of infinite potential.
Exactly. And when you believe in abundance, you open yourself up to so many more possibilities.
You're not afraid to share your knowledge
Right.
or your resources.
Because you know there's enough to go around.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
What's that?
Turning your apps into assets.
Yeah.
It's not just about making money.
Right.
It's about empowering yourself,
Yeah.
taking control of your financial future,
Creating more freedom and flexibility.
breaking free from that 9-to-5 grind.
Exploring new possibilities.
It's about having the courage to dream big
Believe in yourself.
and take action.
So go out there.
Experiment with different apps
Embrace that passive income mindset.
and see what you can achieve.
And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination.
Enjoy the process
Embrace the challenges.
and celebrate your successes.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of passive income apps.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.